What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Jam with Jock. If you've watched this channel before, you know how much I love 80s music. So whenever I get a chance to do something like this is exactly the type of music I'm going to be making. And just a quick shout out to Lock Doggy for commenting this the other week that he loves this song. So I thought we'll be making Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. We're going to make it from scratch today, and it's going to sound like this. So here we are in Ableton. I've just set up a project with the reference track that I'll listen to. I won't play it for you guys just for copyright reasons, but obviously you guys should be familiar with this track. And if you're not, just listen to it on where you listen to your music and you can hear the difference before and after. So to save a little bit of time, I've just created a channel for all the sounds that I hear in the track. So I've got a kick and a shaker, got a few synths and 3 guitars. So we'll start with the drums. As always, with 80s tracks, the drums are super simple, and that's what I love about them. So we're going to start with kick drum, which is most definitely a Lindrum, one of the most popular drum machines at the time, and it's got that very distinctive Lindrum sound when I listen to the original. So the kick pattern just goes kick, next up we'll do the shaker. So we're just going to Lindrum, and on the Lindrum it's actually called a cabasa, or cabasa, however you say it, is the shaker. Just create a MIDI clip, and it's 8th note shakers. So what I'll do is I'll just create them like this at the moment, and then I'll just adjust the note length and the velocities to give a bit of randomness to it. Alrighty, so far so good. Just going to add a Pultec EQ to the kick, because Lindrums, I feel like they need a little bit more beef than that one they come with already. So what better way to do it than the Pultec? EQ any lows out of the shaker. And I'm going to add some distortion. All right, that's pretty much it for the drums for the intro. So very simple, nice and easy for us to recreate. Let's go ahead and jump into the synths now. So to my ear, I hear 3 sounds. I hear an organ, a pad, and an ocarina. If you're not familiar with an ocarina, it's just a type of wind instrument. So firstly, I will find the organ sound first, and we'll start laying down the chords, and they're nice and easy as well, which is cool. Just use Xenology. I'll just create a MIDI clip first. Now I know the chords, so I'm just going to play them in. It's F major, G major, E minor, and then back to F major. So I'll just find any organ sound to start with, and then we can tinker with it as we go. Ooh, gospel spin, sounds good. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and record it in. And just to have all the notes, I'm just going to quantize first, Command A to highlight all, and then Command U. And then just to have them all sustained, I'm just going to hit the legato. I don't think the organ is the main sound that we hear. I think it's just there as a layer. So I'm going to keep this one for the meantime. I think it sounds quite good. I think the pad is the sound that we really need to get sounding much like the original. So I'm just going to go ahead and find a pad that is going to most resemble the original. I think this is going to be a multi-layered pad. So often like to do different instruments. So I'll start with the Xenology and then I might get a Arturia synth as well. All right, so I think this will be a good first layer. It's got that weight and warmth to it. We need something with a bit of chorus that we're gonna add to later. So just gonna go ahead and group that one. And we might look at the CS80, one of the greatest synthesizers of all time. And it's got some really great pads on there. I like the sound of this one. But again, it's not that prominent sound that I want to be hearing, but it's going to go a long way in the one pad sound. It's just going to be one of those layers that we have. I'm going to turn it down 10 dB, so it's going to be doing a lot to create that pad sound, but it's not going to be that sound that we hear. I'm going to try the Prophet synth now. So I like this pad sound here, but I think the attack is too long. In the original, the chords have quite a short attack, so I'm just going to drag that down. That sounds much better. So that's going to be that main sound that we hear. And then I'm going to pan these two to the left and right. The original pad just sounds really wide. So just pan the first two left and the right, and we're going to get some chorus on it now. And using my favorite chorus plugin, the Tal Chorus, which is actually a free plugin, so I definitely recommend it. Unsolo that. Going to filter this third pad down because I just listened to the original and it sounds not as bright. I'm actually going to throw this on the entire layer. Right, I'm going to put a bit of distortion on it and a bit of Hall reverb as well. Alrighty, I think that's sounding pretty good. When I was actually playing the pad and the organ together, I just didn't like the sound of the organ with it, so I'm just going to try and find another organ now that I think will suit better with the pad. So I just found a Juno organ that I liked. I just think the chorus is a little bit intense at the moment, so I'm just going to turn down the dry wet. Alright, I think that's a good start. Let's move to the ocarina. I know the Xenology has an ocarina synth in here, which is great because it's obviously quite a rare sound, and I don't have an original one to play, so this is our next best. Spell it, there it is. Same chords over. It's really subtle in the mix, but it's adding so much warmth to the overall pad, and I think it's an essential layer to have. right, so we'll listen to everything so far. So far so good. Now let's move to the part that I've feared most, and that's why I've got it at the end, the guitars. So firstly, I can't even play a guitar, so that's why we're going to be having to use MIDI for this. And so by using MIDI, I think it's just going to sound a lot less like the original, because it is really hard to create the original sound of an actual guitarist playing. So we'll do our best. I think the 3 layers that there is a muted guitar that's doing some strumming, an acoustic guitar, and then an electric guitar. So we will start on the muted first to just give the rhythm to the guitars. So I like to use Contact for all my electric MIDI guitars, and then I like to use Ample Guitar for my acoustic. So Contact, and then I've got there's quite a few good ones. I've got the Session Guitarist Electric Mint now. So just like the shaker, it's just playing 8th note muted notes. It plays the root notes of the chords. So F was the first one, F major, up to G major, and then down to E minor, and then back to F major. So just like the shaker again, I'll just add some variances to the note length and also the velocities. Right, so I'm happy with this first bar, and so I'm just going to drag them. I'm just going to drag this across to the G major, down to the E for the E minor, and then F. And I'm just going to put a guitar rig, a distortion, or just an effects unit on it. And we're not looking for anything too crazy because it's just a muted guitar at the end of the day. So just something that's going to help give it a bit of character. I like this beautiful Dirt preset. It just had a delay on it, so I just turned that off. Alrighty, so that's helping the guitar and the whole track just have a little bit of movement. So we'll move to the acoustic guitar next. So Ample Guitar, like I said. So the acoustic guitar isn't doing any strumming or anything. It's kind of just accenting, and it just goes, starts at C, somewhere around here. Put the velocity up a little bit. Then up to D. And then down to B, I think. Give it a listen. Just add some variation to the note lengths. And velocities. We have the first guitar lick, which is C and a G. Down to the G. And then just those same notes. Just something like this should be. Take down the velocity for this one. I might just shorten these two as well. Alright, that's the first fill done. The next 4 bars are the same with these chords, but then there's a different fill at the end of that. So the next fill goes F, G, F, G, C, D, E, C. Something like that. All right, so we'll try and draw that in. All right, so start with the F, G. This G kind of sustains a little bit, so C. See? Plus it up a bit. Yeah, this one goes here. Something like that. I might try and sustain these notes a little bit more. It just sounds a little unnatural at the moment. So a little better. It'll sound better once we have the electric guitar. We'll just copy the MIDI for now, and then I'll just go back and forth and listen what we got, and I'll see if I need to deactivate some of the notes. Now, I definitely want this guitar to have a bit of character to it, so I'm going to get Guitar Rig again and go for something a little bit more dramatic. Sounding decent, but I feel like there's definitely some layer missing. I feel like the guitar has more to it, so I'm just going to add another MIDI layer and try and get another electric guitar going. Like this. Right, so that sounds pretty good. I just think it helps the rhythm a little bit more. So I'll just copy in those licks as well, and we'll see if it sounds good with or without them. Going to add some velocity random to the last electric layer we just added. Alrighty everyone, so let's give this a listen. I feel like this is pretty close to the original. There you have it, guys. There is Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper, recreated from scratch in Ableton Live. I really hope that you guys were able to follow along with it easy at home, and you learned lots of things that you can then implement in your own recreations. And as I said at the start, I think recreating your favorite artist tracks is definitely the #1 way to get better as a producer. So I would highly suggest you take some of these techniques and implement them in your own productions. Once again, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. If you have any song suggestions that you'd like me to recreate, or just any video suggestions in general, I'd be happy to take any requests into consideration. If you learned something in this video, I'd very much appreciate if you liked and subscribed the video, and that'll tell me that you guys like this type of content, which is very helpful for me. If you wanted to go ahead and keep watching my stuff, then I'll just put my latest upload right up there. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.